There's a new purpose on the horizon for humanity and Earth. And what do I mean by a new purpose? It took me over 10 years to actually understand this for myself and decode this message that I received over a decade ago. And this simultaneously has become my personal North Star. In short, it's about shifting from our old purpose, which is survival-based, embedded in our biology and DNA, up until this point in our evolution. And it's time to shift into a new purpose. It's one towards alignment, alchemy, and awakening. It's really about a new way of being. It's literally about becoming a new kind of human through the alchemical process of transformation on all levels of our being, through integrating our old purpose, the survival mode, our shadows, our darkness, our old selves, as much as our light of finding our true selves, coming back to who we really are. And this transformation will lead us into a new way of being, from where we can then create a new reality from this new purpose. And by going through this change internally, your outer reality will start to reflect back your internal energy and vibration. It begins within, as within, so without. And once the collective has internally changed from the inside, that is when we will tip over into a new reality as a collective, as a whole. But it has to start by becoming whole on the individual level first. This is what you would call a hero's journey, or the spiritual path of alchemy. And this is through the process of understanding and implementing the principles of the universe, of self-knowledge and transmuting your darkness into light, like a caterpillar into a butterfly. It's about incorporating all these aspects into your new way of being. It's a process of becoming whole and sovereign without glorifying any teachers or masters by placing them above you, but it's about realizing that this inner power is within yourself as well. I think we all know that the era of putting celebrities and gurus on a pedestal is over. It's time to become your own guru, becoming one with the divine, God, and your true self. So the process really begins with getting to know thyself. Getting to know yourself on every level of your being, the mind, body, heart, and spirit. The sacred trinity is actually a tetrahedron. There's a fourth point within the triangle, which is spirit. It's the eye that sees all. It's the meaning behind the famous symbol with the eye in the middle of the triangle. The tetrahedron is a sacred geometry which symbolizes the fire of creation. This is how one comes to be. It's the alignment of your mind, body, heart, spirit, working together as one in coherence and harmony from the merging of your higher self with your human self. So let's take a look at each of these aspects one by one. Spirit is the primordial law. It isn't one of the laws of the universe. It is the law of the universe. It's the I am. And I am comes from the verb to be. It's being. You are a human being. This is the base layer of who you truly are underneath or beyond your name, form, and identities. You simply are. And when someone realizes this on a spiritual level, that is what you would call a spiritual awakening, on knowing thyself on the spiritual level. You're awakening to your true self, your nature, your essence. It's the source of where you really come from, where you are connected or united to the I am, or God, spirit, universe, whichever term you prefer using. It becomes the charioteer of your mind, heart, and body. The second aspect within ourselves is the mind, which is linked to the law of mentalism. The gift of mental powers comes from God, divine being, and if we concentrate our minds on that truth, we become in tune with this great power. Nikola Tesla. All is mind. The universe is mental. This principle suggests that everything in the universe is a mental creation and that our thoughts ultimately shape our reality. It is also where our third eye is located, the pineal gland, which allows us to connect to higher dimensions in consciousness. I like to call them the eyes for insights through the eye, from the I, the true self. It's intuition, imagination, ideas, information, downloads, intention, and inspiration in spirit. So to get to know yourself on the mind level, this is where it really all begins. This is where you have to start to recognize some of your shadows, some of your toxic patterns. It's your darkness that you try to hide in front of others. It's your bad habits, your negative self-talk, and maybe of others too. It's the unconscious thought patterns that controls your life and that can be self-sabotaging. It's the old indoctrinated belief system that you carry with you, and it shows in how you carry yourself and how you live out your life. Carl Jung said that until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. You think you have control over your life until you start conscious work and realize that you've been making decisions by having been programmed throughout your life.
It's sort of comical how you think that you've made a choice that exempts you from the fashion industry when in fact you're wearing a sweater that was selected for you by the people in this room.
You are an expression of your mind. You might have to do some deep digging and get to know the root of why you hold these unserving patterns, because they are what literally shapes you, your personality, your characteristics, your values, your character. Mind is the seat of consciousness. The mind represents thought, and thought is unmanifested energy. So the mind is a container to hold unmanifested energy. Everything we see, touch, and experience is the unmanifested becoming manifested. The physical body, the universe, matter itself. And what we call reality is invisible intelligence taking shape and form. Your mind is a localized bundle of consciousness in a conscious universe. And consciousness is not passive. It is actually living energy appearing as thought. And thought has the power to transform. Third aspect of your being, the heart. This is linked to the law of vibration. Now, on a very human level of experience, the heart is the space that holds our feelings and emotions, which creates our vibrational frequency and affects our magnetic field. And it is what is reflected back to you from where you are. So when you change at this level of frequency, you are literally changing your reality. When you shift the energy and vibration inside of you, you will begin to notice that everything outside of you starts to change too. But it can't just be changing your emotions on a superficial level. This kind of change has to happen on a much deeper level, on the belief system level. There also has to be a genuine mind-heart coherence and a deep sense of belief that you can change and that you will. But change comes from within, and you're the only one who can realize this for yourself. This is where you have to begin to truly understand your emotions. This is where you develop emotional intelligence and begin to navigate the world in a more conscious way. The beauty behind shadow work is that when you begin to recognize your own shadows with less judgment, you actually begin to start recognizing other people's shadows with less judgment. And you become better at navigating your own and others' shadows and to coexist. And this is where true wisdom starts to build. You begin to approach things with more compassion while setting boundaries. And you're able to give and show up just enough without bending over backwards and depleting yourself if you're a people pleaser. And this is also where you learn to respond rather than to react impulsively. You learn how to say the truth, but in a mindful way. It's a balance. And you become better at recognizing the feeling that arises in a given situation and to observe it and to understand it. And this is what consciousness is. This is what conscious work is. You're becoming aware of unconscious feelings and emotions, and you're able to make decisions based from a place of truth. And this is how you truly master your emotions while expanding your heart. And it makes you understand yourself a lot better. You're able to meet yourself rather than trying to avoid those feelings, those unpleasant and uncomfortable feelings. You're actually meeting it to where you are right now and to assess it. And you'll just become better and better at doing this. By becoming aware of what triggers you, how things make you feel in certain situations, around certain people or environments, certain words, understanding yourself at this level is truly a game changer. It could be life-changing. Now, spiritually, the heart is the middle point between your lower and higher chakras. It's the portal for the unconditional love to come through from the I am. It's where spirit can be felt. The liberation, the freedom, the joy and bliss of being can be felt here and expressed as unconditional love, where there's no more fear or judgment, right? This is different from the conditional love of attachment and affection. Unconditional love is when you recognize that the stillness of peace is in everything, without the impulse of wanting to change things. It is where you let everything just be and exist as it is and see the perfection in that. Last but not least, the body. The body is linked to the law of inspired action. The body represents matter, will, and action. It's where the unmanifested energy from the mind becomes manifested through the body, matter. As Rumi said, as you start to walk on the way appears. Clarity doesn't come before action. It comes from action. Will plus action equals manifestation. The etymology of the word manifestation actually means struck by the hand. So it literally means creating with your body. Inspired action, in spirit action, is the highest form of prayer. And the will that I'm talking about here is a higher will, right? It's different from willpower, where you're creating so much effort with your body. Higher will comes from spirit. When someone is in devotion, right, and follows their vocation, it's coming from a higher place. It makes you follow your path unconditionally. It's a place of infinite source. It's when motivation depletes, you rely on this strength from higher will. But first and foremost, your body is the foundation. This is where life happens through you. It holds the mind, heart, and spirit. It's your first birthright and your first home. Your body is the vessel that allows consciousness to experience itself into form, an instrument to channel the highest expression of spirit. It is the vessel to hold the light. But first you have to understand your body, and you have to treat it like a temple. Buddha said, our body is precious. It is a vehicle for awakening. Treat it with care. If your body is suffering, your mind isn't clear, and your heart is cluttered, and it creates dissonance, disharmony, misalignment. So mental and emotional and spiritual and physical hygiene is important. You have to take care of all aspects of your being and get to know them on a very deep level. You have to be aware of what you put in your body. What food does your body really need? What kind of nourishment? What kind of movement does it need? What body aches have you been ignoring? And what is the cause, the root cause of them? I'm actually currently in this phase right now. I've dealt with endometriosis for about 10 years now, and it is a debilitating condition. The disastrous hormonal imbalance, the unbearable pain, the spiraling makes you truly dysfunctional. Forget about meditating when you're in this level of pain. It is physically impossible to even sit straight and have the space for that. It would be a luxury. But once I started to prioritize my health and go through my own body alchemy, things actually started to shift. I started to have more energy to pour into my purpose, to do my videos, and to inform people, to help people, to just serve my purpose, and just for life itself. I'm able to express the highest expression from spirit. And so taking care of the body is the foundation. It's not something to be taken lightly. And your body is actually highly intelligent if you allow it to be, if you give it the space to be. Body alchemy begins with becoming aware and understanding your body on another level. I'm currently creating a body alchemy program, and I'll be making a series of body alchemy specifically. So stay tuned. It's part of a larger program of the new purpose, a new way of being. And if you want to be in the know, make sure to sign up for my newsletter. The link will be below, and you'll be the first to know when it's launched.